Hello everyone, welcome to Beyond the Court. Recently, topics about Chinese basketball have sparked widespread discussion. First, in the Women's Asia Cup, the Chinese women's basketball team suffered an upset loss to Japan in the semifinals. Even with Zheng Zhuoyu, the female Yao Ming on the team, they still fell short of the championship. Then comes the Men's Asia Cup in early August. The Chinese Basketball Association hesitated over whether Yang Hansen would return to play. For a while, rumors spread that Yang Hansen had confirmed his participation, which caused the public uproar. Eventually, when he withdrew from the tournament, the controversy finally subsided. It seems that in recent years, Chinese basketball has had more drama off the court than on it. When we look at this year's Asia Cup groups, we find that aside from Australia and New Zealand, teams like Japan, Iran, Jordan, Lebanon, and the Philippines are all tough opponents. Not teams China can easily beat anymore. The days when China dominated Asia are clearly over. So, how did the Chinese men's basketball team lose its throne step by step? And what kind of crisis are they facing now? Today, let's talk about the Chinese men's basketball team that's no longer at its peak. The Chinese men's team once had a glorious history. Since the 1980 for Los Angeles Olympics, they qualified for 9 consecutive Olympic Games and made it to the top 8 3 times in Atlanta in 1996, Athens 2004, and Beijing 2000 on day within Asia. Their dominance was even more remarkable, including the 2 Asia Cups 2017 and 2021 after the tournament's name change. The team once exceeded of a past 30 Asian championships, maintaining absolute superiority. This included the streaks of 5 consecutive titles between the 1972 and 1990s, and another streak of 4 straight at the turn of the century. However, the last Asian championship gold came at the 2015 tournament held in Shenzhen, China. In the 2 Asia Cups since then 2017 and 2021, they didn't even reach the semifinals. From being the undisputed king to becoming a second -13, this decline is difficult for fans to accept. Next, ill-analyzed from multiple angles players, teams, and policies, why Chinese basketball has fallen so far. First, from the player perspective, the domestic league, the CBA has not been effective in developing players. Former national team coach Jonas Kozlowski, who led China between 2005 and 2008, coached over 100 games but only about 30% were official matches, the rest being friendlies. The reason is that CBA's player development system has issues. As a result, when players gather for national duty, they need long training camps and warm -ups just to regain rhythm. In the mid-1990s, the CBA was established. Before that, China had a national basketball league since the 1952, dominated by the Beihai team, with Liaoning and Beijing as regular top contenders. But interestingly, when we look at the national team rosters from the 1982 and 1990s China's golden hours, we find that many top players like Wei Liv and Shouxi, Song Taoshan-do, Sun Jilin, and Zheng Guihezhong didn't come from the top club teams. Some were even from weaker teams. However, since the Yao Ming era, national team selection has heavily favored players from powerhouse clubs such as Beihai and Guangdong in the past, and now Liaoning and Xizhou. But do players from strong teams necessarily perform better individually? When they face adversity on the international stage, can they stay composed? Ironically, young players from outside mainland China, like Chen Yingjun Li Xing and Lin Tinqian from Taiwan, often develop better. This is because they emerge from a more competitive environment where only the best encore roles. In contrast, mainland players mostly come from sports schools or club youth academies, which have limited talent pools and weak competition. For example, Wang Zihelen from Fujian Sports School was recognized early as a top talent, but the narrow talent-based lack of competitive environment hindered his long-term growth. Next, from the team perspective, it's undeniable that as long as Yao Ming was playing, China could maintain the illusion of dominance. The team won the 2001, 2003, and 2005 Asian Championships, and reached the quarterfinals in 2004 and 2008 Olympics. Those years represented the last true peak of Chinese basketball, a regional powerhouse. The turning point came after Yao's injury in 2009. In May that year, Yao was seriously injured, and less than 3 months later, the Asian Championship was held in Tianjin. With little time to rebuild, Coach Guo Shijian had to adapt, but instead of centering the offense around veteran Wen Zhihi, he chose Yu Jianliang as the new core. Yet, the system required a low-minus post defensive anchor, which he was not. The result was a tactical failure that exposed team weaknesses. China lost the final to Iran by 18 points on home soil, marking the start of a dark era. After that came the 2012 London Olympics Euro 5 record, the 23rd Asian Championship disaster in Manila, losing to Chinese Taipei by 18 in the quarterfinals, and the 2014 Incheon Asian Games where China lost to both Japan and Iran failed to reach the semifinals. Even in the 2019 FIBA World Cup, China's tactical confusion persisted, especially the over-reliance on the 3- guard system. The idea of fielding three roughly 190 cm guards at once became trendy in Chinese basketball. Against teams with tall, skilled wings, this inevitably led to huge mismatches. At this point, we can see that neither the tactical system nor the player development system has clear direction. The national team, the domestic league, and youth programs are all strengthened. Most fans only focus on a few star players from Yao Ming and IBA titles. As mentioned in previous videos, despite his flaws, China developed a shared dependency playing the lost player to the absence. Guard Zhao Yi from one side, run by best by ability to stop shooting. Now Yang Hansen may be the lone glimmer of hope in these dark years, but only a temporary. Next, let's talk about reform policy. After Yao Ming became head of the Chinese Basketball Association, he indeed tried many reforms and made genuine efforts. However, problems emerged. First, policy effects and time results can appear in a year or two. Second, some measures not working in use, as may not be. Take the campus basketball reform, for example. Some talented players could enter elite universities like Schwab or Peking University for basketball. But many of these players later dropped out to become professional players. And college teams can't match professional intensity. That undermines the purpose of promoting campus basketball. Another example is the persistent problem of 3- growth and consistency in international competitions. Media often criticize Chinese players for fundamentals, but the real issue starts early. In youth development, coaches and parents chase quick results, focusing on physical dominance instead of basic skills. Kids are taught to overpower opponents rather than master fundamentals. Deeper still, flawed systems and shallow structures have long restricted progress. For comparison, consider Kyrie Irving. He played only 11 games at Duke, yet the Cleveland Cavaliers still drafted him no. 1 overall to build around him after LeBron's departure. Why? Because from youth leagues to high school tournaments, every detail of his performance was meticulously tracked and analyzed. Ample data and scouting reports provided a complete evaluation system. Or take Luka Doncic. Slovenia has only about 1 million people, yet over 10 Slovenians have made it to the NBA, including champions like Ratko Nestervachev and Bino Udry. Luka himself became a global superstar. His story shows the depth of development systems abroad at age 8. He trained with 11-year-olds by his second practice. He was promoted to the 14-year-old group. Even his small hometown club had multiple youth tiers, U11, U14, etc., showing how systematic this structure was. In contrast, China has millions who play basketball, but what kind of basketball are they playing? Do they play full-court? Do they follow real rules? How many teams practice tactics? How many just play randomly? To reach the developmental level of the year, Spain or Slovenia will take many years. All the issues above stem from internal problems within Chinese basketball. But from a global perspective, the major trends have also reshaped the game. First, naturalization and globalization have boosted the strength of many countries, especially in East Asia with Japan and Chinese Taipei making good strides. Second, overall team chemistry and international parity have improved worldwide. Even the youth, pastime. In recent FIBA World Cups, the once invincible Dream team lost multiple games. Fans are no longer surprised when Team USA falls short. In the NBA, most of today's top superstars, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, SGIO, are international players. So while China has regressed, the rest of the world has advanced, widening the gap even more. At this point, we can't say China has no future in basketball, but optimism is hard to justify. In conclusion, these are my reflections on the decline of Chinese men's basketball. Yao Ming, as a player, elevated China to unprecedented heights. As an administrator, he took full responsibility when results collapsed, even admitting so after the 2019 World Cup failure. Yet, as discussed today, Yao is more of a scapegoat for deeper structural issues. This is no longer just a sports problem, but a societal one. Still, let's end on the competitive side. China's outlook for the upcoming Asia Cup. With or without Yang Hansen, China's chances of making the semifinals remain uncertain. Their key matchup will be against Jordan. If they beat Jordan, they'll likely top Group C and avoid Australia or New Zealand until the semifinals. But if they lose, they'll probably face a playoff for a quarterfinal spot, potentially against the Philippines or Chinese Taipei. Either way, the path ahead won't be easy for the once mighty Chinese men's basketball team.